Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Whisper, and today what I have for you is a little bit of a more serious video, I guess. It's a serious story about something that happened to me a few hours ago, and I'm still a little bit in shock about it, but I really want to talk about it now before I really forget all the details, because usually when I make these videos, I miss a lot of details, you know, because it's from past times or it's been a while, but this is like still fresh in my mind, and this is the story of the time I got evacuated, and it was only a few hours ago. So to start off, I should mention that my family has really fucking bad luck with being evacuated in fires. Like, my family, my mom and my dad are divorced, and my dad has had to be evacuated 2 or 3 times from his house. He lives out in the mountains compared to like in the city where my mom and I live, because I primarily stay with her. But even my mom has had an issue where a fire was like right up the hill of one of our previous houses, because we moved a few years back and we were renting that house. And there was like a fire like literally coming up the hill into the backyard, and thank God we were able to get it put out. One of our neighbors actually ended up like dumping our pool, and it kept everything wet enough so that the fire couldn't like continue up, and it actually ended up saving our house. But today it was different, because we actually had a sheriff come to our house and like evacuate. Everybody was starting to get evacuated the previous time, but you know, it wasn't too big of a serious issue because it was taken care of. This was a huge fire. I mean, this fire was huge. Like 3 or 4 houses burned down, apparently, in the process. And I have some like pictures and videos I'll probably end up putting up during this video so that you could see this like fire. It was actually like really kind of scary when we, you know, could see the flames and everything like that. It was surreal. It was like a beautiful nightmare in a sense, where you could see the flames, and the flames just like tearing everything up was kind of beautiful, but it was like terrifying because it was so close to our house. But anyways, it was just, you know, normal day. I was playing a lot of League this weekend just because I've been trying to like get better at the game and improve my rank. I'm like Silver 5, and I'm not really happy with my rank, trying to improve and stuff like that. And I was getting a little bit frustrated at the game, and then all of a sudden the internet just like went out. And it went out previously one time, but it was because the router ended up getting unplugged, so it was a little annoying. But I went out there, and this time we didn't have internet, and it was like the router and everything, the modem, everything was plugged in properly. And so I looked around, and my mom's ex-boyfriend, who is currently her roommate until he can get his stuff out and everything like that, they just don't end up getting along. He grabs me, not like grabs me, but he like taps on my shoulder, and he says, "Look outside, look out the window." And I look out the window, and there's just like clouds of billowing smoke, only like, I don't know, I guess it would be like 200 to 300 feet away from the house. And I was just like in shock. I was like, holy shit, that's actually really close. And I was like, that's why we lost internet, and that's why we don't have cable or anything like that. And he was like, yeah, you're right. And so right as we were talking about it, a sheriff pulled up into our driveway and was like, we're evacuating everybody. You guys need to, you know, get whatever you want to and get out of here quickly. And so the first thought was like, oh god, we need to get the animals. And I hate to fucking say this, but my mom like gets way too many animals. Like, we have way too many goddamn animals in this house. So we're like literally scrambling to make a decision on what animals we want to take with us, because we just have too many of them. And my mom's ex's boyfriend truck like doesn't have that much room. And we have some cages, but the problem is that if we put like animals in there, there's a chance they'll fight and they'll maul each other to death. Like, they won't be able to escape, so they'll just end up like dying or something like that by mauling each other, because they don't really get along, some of them. But we just like, we're scrambling to make a decision at this point. So my mom's ex-boyfriend and I decide that we're going to go ahead and take the 3 inside dogs, and we're going to leave all the windows and everything open, because all the cats are like outside inside cats. They come and go as they please, and so we figured if we just left it open, they would probably figure out how they would get out of the fire and everything like that. But we had to leave the bunny that we had, and we had to leave a couple outside dogs that we have like a big cage for them, and we had to leave them because we just didn't have room in the truck. Like, it was already cramped with the 3 dogs that we had in there, and so we were just like scrambling to figure out what to do. But as we did that, we like got all the animals into the car, we packed our stuff, I grabbed my backpack and like put a few things in there that I could use to keep myself entertained, like my tablet and stuff like that. And I just got in the car, and we started to drive, you know, towards where we get off onto the freeway. So as we approach the road to get onto the freeway, we just see tons of like firefighters and police officers blocking off the way, because they blocked the road that directly went onto the freeway, and we didn't really want to like go that way because of all the fires and everything like that, and there was houses like along a little road next to the freeway, and that's where like fires were burning and stuff like that. But there was actually part of the fire that was like on our side of the freeway and everything like that, so we could like see the flames actually like burning up a fence as we went by, and we turned onto a separate road that took us to a different place that we could get out of our subdivision. It was actually like really kind of scary and beautiful to like look and see that fire and see the flames like consuming the fence. It actually didn't take any of the houses in our subdivision, as far as I know. It didn't take any. I'm not 100% sure on that because it's like late and now I can't go check and everything like that, and the police officers have the road blocked off, probably because they don't want people like going in and looting houses of people who have evacuated and stuff like that, which makes sense. So maybe tomorrow, when, you know, everything is cleared up, hopefully we'll be able to go out there and see, you know, if any of the houses in our subdivision burned down. So how our subdivision works is it like winds into a bunch of different roads, like a bunch of roads intersect into each other, and as you go further, I think it's towards like I guess you could say left, because I don't know which direction exactly it is, but all the roads intermingle, and you can get into like community areas where there's like businesses, like a very small like mini mart, and there's a couple like restaurants there, and so they're kind of like mixed in between these houses and stuff like that. You can find them, and like as we go by, we start to like be able to like see through the trees and everything like that, because there's a lot of trees, and we can see like the actual fire and the flames and everything like that, and we can see the smoke rising up. And the way we got a really good angle, because like we could look directly up, and the sun was blocked out by the smoke, leaving this like really orangish, pinkish tint to the smoke and everything as it rose, and it was just rising really rapidly in several different locations, and it was just like really pretty, but also like really terrifying to think that this fire could be at our house and we don't know because we had evacuated. So me and my mom's ex-boyfriend were staying there for quite a while. We were trying to figure out as much information as we possibly could about the situation of the fire and like how it was contained. So after a bit, we find out that the part that was on our particular road of our subdivision had actually been put out, and our subdivision was actually safe, but they were still, you know, asking people to evacuate. But me and my mom's ex-boyfriend decided that we were going to go back to the house and make sure everything was okay, because my mom and my sister were like freaking out, and they actually went to the house to get all the animals and stuff like that we had left, which was only like 4 or 5, and they were just like flipping their shit and everything like that. We couldn't get a like proper call going towards them, because apparently like cell service was really shoddy with the smoke, and apparently some of the cell towers probably went down, so we were just having troubles getting like through to them. So we arrived a little bit later. It took us about like 20 minutes to get back to the house after we, you know, had to like work our way through the different roads to get back into our subdivision and everything like that. And when we got back, we found that my mom and my sister had left. Like, they had just, like, they'd grabbed the animals, grabbed whatever they needed, and they booked it out. Like, they just didn't want to be a part of that. They didn't want to get trapped in there. And so we came back in to find out that our electricity had been shut out, and we didn't have water, I believe. So we were just kind of stuck there drinking whatever we had. We had, like, soda and stuff like that, which isn't healthy, but we still drank it, and we had food that we could eat, too. So it wasn't really bad, but it wasn't really great either. So I'm sitting there, you know, on my tablet, you know, just listening to music while it's slowly dying because I hadn't charged it the night before. So it was at like 15% while I try to let everybody know what's going on and, you know, how everything is going, aside from my sister and my mom, who of course we can't reach because we didn't really have any cell signal out there. I was just, you know, on the tablet, and for some reason I had data, but, you know, my mom's ex-boyfriend's phone didn't work for some reason. Like, it just wouldn't call. So I was just letting everybody know what was going on. I was letting my close friends know, you know, online, know that if I don't come back for a while, just know that I'm, you know, hopefully okay, and I'll just try and keep them up to date. But after a while, I started to get tired, and so I ate some food, and I, you know, drank a soda, and then I went into my room, and I just fell asleep on the bed, and my mom's ex-boyfriend was trying to, like, get everything sorted out and try and figure everything out, and, like, what was going on with the fire. So I wake up, like, several different times, and some of those times I wake up and I, like, get something to drink or get something to eat, I like napped for like 2 or 3 hours, like on and off, depending. Like I'd wake up, you know, I'd check messages and stuff like that. I'd maybe get something to eat or something to drink, you know, check to make sure everything was okay. A couple times I woke up and my mom's ex-boyfriend like had left to go figure out the situation, and he'd update me, and then I'd go back and I'd nap for a little bit longer. But the last time that I woke up was actually one of the most scariest things I've ever like felt, like internally in my life. Like I just like was legitimately panicking and freaking out. And that's where I tell you that this story is really serious, is because of like what happened here. So the last time that I woke up, it was like about 8 o'clock, I want to say. It was like 7:30 or 8, and it was really starting to get dark. Like, it was so dark that I'd walk into the living room, and the living room's probably the darkest room, and I couldn't see like in front of me. It was actually terrifying to like walk into the living room and realize like, oh, I can't see anything. So I grabbed my tablet, which, by the way, has low battery, and like it's at 10% at this point. So I'm sitting there like trying to use the tablet to maneuver my way around inside the house, because like there's no lights, because there's no electricity, and I couldn't find any flashlights. So I'm maneuvering around my house trying to find, you know, Steve, which is my mom's ex-boyfriend, and I can't find him. Like, I legitimately am struggling to like find him. I looked around all the rooms and everything like that. Both of the cars that he had were still there, at least I thought. And I began to like look around and panic. And I went out back into the backyard, and I didn't see him there. The dogs were still out and everything like that. And I legitimately began to like panic and almost started to have a panic attack. And I started like messaging as many friends as I could, you know, like, holy shit, somebody needs to call somebody. Like, somebody needs to call one of my members of my family or one of my friends, and they need to like come over here, because I'm all alone. And for all I know, you know, people could come and try and loot my house, and I don't have any lights. So I was in the dark, like in my room, trying to message people, like freaking the fuck out, as I'm trying to send messages to all these people and like tell them, you know, somebody needs to get over here, because I don't want to be here alone in case something happens, because I don't have any form of protection. We don't have a gun or anything like that. I have like a sword and some knives, but like, what is that going to do if like actual serious looters come to this house and try and, you know, take, you know, the stuff that's in here? Like, I can't do anything, and they'd probably have weapons. Like, I was just freaking the fuck out, because we live in a town that's kind of like full of drug addicts, I want to say. They're generally not bad people as compared to the like sister city, I guess you could say, of where we live, because that place is like far worse. There's crimes like every day. It's really awful. But here is like a lesser version of that, but it still means that people are more crazy, because they're like doing drugs and crack and shit like that, and it's like actually scary. So like these people could actually come to my house and loot it. And so I'm freaking out, and it takes me about 10 minutes. Like, I'm trying to calm down, and nobody's messaging me back. Like, even the person that I was like, you know, hey, could you call my mom? He just left my messages on read because he was mad at me for some reason. And I was just like actually starting to panic when all of a sudden I saw a car like pull into the driveway, and I was like, oh fuck. And I was just like starting to panic. I just like went to the front door and peeked outside, and I realized it was my mom's ex-boyfriend's Jeep that he had actually taken, and he told me that he had went to go take this back to a friend so that it would be safe in case the fire, you know, continued to spread, but they wouldn't let him out. And I just like a huge sigh of relief, because it just felt like so relaxing and comforting to know that I actually wasn't alone anymore, and that he didn't just up and fucking leave me or anything like that. He was just trying to go do something for a friend. And shortly after that, actually, we were able to find some lights, and we got some lights working, and we put them, you know, around the house so we could see, and a couple flashlights. Actually, one of them's on my desk in case, you know, the power does go out again. And that was the situation. Actually, shortly after we got all the lights and everything, we were like, okay, we got all the lights, everything, the power came back on. So just our luck, we get the lights and everything like that set up so that we could actually see, and then the lights and all the electricity turns back on. The internet's back on. That's how I'm able to record this video and stuff like that. And it was really just a scary experience for me. Like, I actually was terrified to be alone in my own house, realizing that, you know, I couldn't see anything. There might be people coming around trying to loot houses, and I could be a victim to that. And it was just a really overall scary experience. Like, just like walking into the living room and just it being pitch dark, I can't see in front of me, just actually scared the fuck out of me because no flashlight, the tablet had low battery, and I wasn't going to turn the lighting up so I could see everything, because then I would waste battery and then I wouldn't have any contact at all in case somebody didn't come back. It was just overall a scary experience for me. But anyways, I really wanted to talk about this just because it was, you know, it's so fresh in my mind, and I wanted to recall all the details that I possibly could in, like, making this video. And I'll show you the videos. Hopefully I put them into the actual video that I made, like the pictures and the videos of the fire and everything, so you guys can see, like, what it was actually like to be able to see the fire and the smoke, like, billow up into the sun, like, or like in front of the sun, like blocking out the sun and causing like orange smoke and stuff like that. It was really pretty, but like I said, it was really scary to just like think that my house could have potentially gotten burned down if the firefighters hadn't, you know, contained the fire in time and it continued to spread like it was. And the fire is actually still going on, apparently. It's mostly contained now is what I think I know. And yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this story, even though it was a little bit more serious. My name is Whisper, and I'm out. Peace.